Iran says it seized 2 Navy sea drones in the Red Sea before letting them go. This is the latest provocation from the Iranians involving the U.S. Navy's new drone fleet in the Middle East. It's also the second similar incident in recent days as negotiations over Tehran's nuclear deal with world powers hangs in the balance. Now, the earlier incident involved Iran's Revolutionary Guard, not its regular Navy. It happened in the Persian Gulf, but still not a good look for Iran. Also today, 50 House Republicans and Democrats demand full transparency from the Biden administration as they work to secure a new Iranian nuclear deal. These lawmakers are concerned certain provisions in a revised pact could result in weakening U.S. sanctions that are meant to target the funding of terrorist activities. Joining us now to talk about this is former Trump 2016 foreign policy advisor and Newsmax contributor George Papadopoulos. Also joining us, another foreign policy advisor to President Trump, Dr. Walid Phares. Gentlemen, great to have you both with us.
Thank you for having me.
I still don't understand. I feel, George, like I'm asking this question like I'm a broken record, but why in the world is the Biden administration still interested in pursuing a deal with Iran when they seem so uninterested in doing anything that would look like an ally or a partner you can work with? They're taking our drones, and this is happening multiple times just in the last week.
Well, let's look at the situation, John. U.S. military planning for decades was based on the premise that the U.S. should be able to fight 2 wars simultaneously in different parts of the world. And even in the gloomiest situation, our strategists never even considered fighting 3 simultaneous wars in different parts of the world. Now, a war with Iraq and Afghanistan is completely different than a potential conflict with Russia and China. But what we have now for the first time in history is a potential conflagration with Iran. And this is exactly why weak and feckless leadership under the Biden administration has invited this disastrous and unpredictable international system. And the Biden administration is now playing catch up. They're negotiating from a position of weakness, not strength. They want to curb American energy and allow the export of both Venezuelan and Iranian energy in order to calm energy markets. It's completely absurd. The world is becoming more unpredictable and less safe because of this foreign policy, and this will do absolutely nothing to secure America's interests.
And on top of that, Walid, they're talking about ending the weapons embargo on selling arms to Iran. This is insanity.
It is insanity, but it's a recycled insanity. Remember, in 2015, we've seen this movie before. The former Obama administration actually signed this agreement. They released $150 billion to the regime. What did the regime do with that money? Did they increase the capabilities of the middle class? Did they reform? Did they give any kind of a freedom? Did they enter the business world community? No. They actually funded further their ballistic missiles. They financed the Iranian militias, the Iranian controlled militias in Iraq, in Syria, in Lebanon, in Yemen. So the American public has a piece of history where we saw what the original deal has done, where we understood what the intentions of the Iranian regime were. And now this administration, as an extension of the Obama foreign policy, comes in and repeats it. Now, your question is very valid. Why is this stubbornness in going back to a deal that did not work? There were no changes, political changes in Iran. So what is the reason? Now, of course, what George has said is correct. And I add one more issue, which is that there are financial interests linked to this administration who want us to go back to that deal because they have their own profit in it. And we've seen it before during the Cold War. So I think Congress should investigate the bigger deal. What is happening behind that deal? It's not just about, releasing weapons or money to Iran. There is something more ominous to it, in my view.
Yeah, I mean, this has been the stated objective of the Europeans, as well as why they want to be part of this deal. They want to open up the Iranian market so they can sell their airplanes and other stuff inside Iran. And George, it just looks like you talked about the situation with Russia, but Europe is so hollowed out from leadership right now that they have to get on their knees and basically, along with the Biden administration, which is complicit in this, bend over backwards to appease our enemies.
John, America's interest is to promote energy security and sustain the transatlantic alliance, even as it faces new threats to both the South and the East. And in order to do it in today's current situation, you have to unleash America's energy. Today, crippling sanctions against Russia have yet to curb their exports of natural gas and oil to the European market, which is the main market. Instead of the United States trying to ease conditions for American companies, they are making it harder for American energy companies to export to Europe. So what are the Europeans doing now? They understand that winter's coming. Gas prices are going through the roof in Europe. They're decades high. They have to look for alternatives. And the only alternative is both Azerbaijan and potentially Iran, because they understand this regime under the Biden administration is not going to be there for them when the winter comes. And I think that's why they're looking to come up with some sort of deal in earnest for their own interests. And it goes against the American interest.
Yeah, you can't negotiate with Iran unless you're negotiating from a position of strength, and that's clearly not where the Biden administration is right now. Gentlemen, we'll have to cut it off there, but thank you for your insight on this concerning topic. We'll have you both back to talk more about it. Great to see you.